Welcome to Cataloged Clutter, where we're building sets one single card at a time, and we're really enjoying and learning about all of those cards, no matter how common, every single one of them. We're going to 1972-73 Topps today. This is card number 241, and it's a card commemorating Game 1 of the 1971-72 ABA Championship. Now, who is this on the front of the card? Number 14 there, going up for a layup with that ABA basketball. It's not an easy one. It's not an easy one. We'll talk about this card, learn about it in context of the whole set as you try to remember who that is. Number 14 there, ABA Championship. First, let's talk about this set as a whole. These Topps sets are often overlooked because for a long time all we had was Topps, especially during the 70s there. But they are our only choice for cards for that long stretch of time. So unless we want nothing in our collections for 1972-73, you got to have some of these Topps cards. But with only Topps for so long for basketball card collectors, it's easy to get lost in all the different Topps sets of the 70s. It's just one Topps set after another. Well, one way to keep them clear is the number of cards in the set. Here in 1972-73, Topps expanded the number of cards. It was the largest that they did to that point, 264 cards. And they'd stick with that number for 3 seasons in a row. So this 72-73 set started a series of 3 consecutive sets fixed at those 264 cards. This 72-73 set, I like it. I really do. It was well organized and fun to collect. So cards 1 through 176, those are your NBA cards. Then 177 to 264, those are your ABA cards. And obviously that's where this one comes from. So within those two halves, you had a lot of interesting subsets. You had all-stars for both leagues, statistical leaders for both leagues. Then you had these cards here. They were dedicated to each game of the championship series. And again, both the ABA and the NBA. So to me, this 72-73 Topps set, it really gives you a feel for what it was like when both the ABA and NBA were operating simultaneously. I really enjoy it. I think it's real fun to go back into history, get a feel for that. And all of those subsets, they're kind of nice because this year, 72-73 Topps, there were no insert sets. None. It was just this base set. I also like this 72-73 Topps set for one of the landmark cards in that set. You know, as I said, one way to keep track of these 70s Topps sets is number of cards, but another way is to kind of remember a landmark card from each year. In 72-73, it was this Dr. J rookie. We already did a video discussing this card. A lot of interesting topics, especially that common fisheye in the printing right there. But yeah, 72-73 Topps. That was this one right here. Really neat set. Okay, back to this specific card. Do you remember who that is with the Indiana Pacers there? So I'm starting to give you hints. That's the Indiana Pacers, 1971-72 ABA Finals. In terms of history of the game, you know, your collection isn't complete without cards like this. 72-73, you're obviously going to want to remember the previous season. Topps is your only choice. And 72-73 Topps being all that's available, it's nice to have these subsets commemorating things like these series. As we just said, this is one of the ABA cards. Now, about this particular series. So, some trivia. There are only 4 players in history to win both ABA and NBA championships. 4 players did it. Well, 2 of them were present here in this ABA Finals. Those 2 players are Rick Barry and Bill Melchionni. So here they are for the New York Nets. There's Rick Barry. He was the top scorer this game, 34 points. Bill Melchionni contributed 6 there to the total. But those are 2 of the 4 players who won championships with both the ABA and the NBA. Here's another piece of trivia. So John Roche, he was the 2nd leading scorer for the New York Nets this game. Many years later, he'd get his law degree while he was still playing in the NBA. He's the only player who was a licensed lawyer while they were playing. Yeah, I think that's a neat piece of trivia. I really do. And this particular ABA Finals is also interesting in that it's the first time that you have an ABA Finals where both of the teams would later move to the NBA. It only happened one other time, but this is the first time. The New York Nets and the Indiana Pacers, they both moved to the NBA. And here they are in the ABA. Okay, now with all this talk about the players over here for the New York Nets, well, the New York Nets did not win this series. And, of course, that's not the New York Nets. Did you figure out who that is yet? Well, it was the Pacers who would win this game. You see here, 124 to 103. And they'd go on to win the whole series. By the way, these cards give nice statistical summaries. Every single player who scored anything, we have the list here. And then quarter by quarter, you can see what happened to lead to that total. Okay, we know that's an Indiana Pacer on the front. Let's go to the Indiana Pacers. There's your choices. Who is it? Right there, Freddie Lewis, the top scorer for the Indiana Pacers. He's pictured on the front of the card, driving to the hoop. He was the finals MVP for this series. There he is there one more time. So yeah, neat card, neat card. Nice way to go back in time, where you have the NBA and the ABA, and to go right here to the championship series. Game number 1, and there's Freddie Lewis there. Thanks for watching. Taking a look at a card that, if there's any cards that are overlooked frequently, it's 1970s Topps Commons. But I like a lot of them. Think this is a fun one. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.